Story recapped here. Today, I'm going to explain an action, horror, and sci-fi movie called Gantz. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take care. A college student named Kei prepares for a job interview while waiting at the subway station. He then notices his childhood friend Kato passing by. Suddenly, a drunk man falls into the train tracks. Nobody helps the man as they're waiting for someone else to do it. Disappointed, Kato jumps into the tracks to help the man. However, he struggles to do so and he calls on Kei to help, but he ignores him. Frustrated, Kato pushes the man up by himself, but the train approaches fast while he's still on the tracks. Seeing this, Kei immediately tries to pull him up, but he falls instead. Within a split second, the train hits them. Suddenly, they find themselves in a room with a large black sphere and other people who are stunned to see them. They check the doors and windows, but the others note that they can't be opened. Kato confronts Kei for ignoring him on the platform. Kei excuses that he didn't see him, which Kato accepts, given Kei's behavior when they were kids. They wonder about their near-death experience, and the others testify that they also died and woke up in the room. The black sphere suddenly activates and forms a female body out of thin air. The woman is unconscious and soaking wet. One of the men notes that Kei and Kato appeared the same way earlier. Another man looks over her with suggestive curiosity, so Kato puts his jacket over the woman, who starts to wake up. The black sphere starts playing a wake-up song and everyone appears confused, except for a young man wearing a hoodie. Afterward, the black sphere confirms that they're dead, but they've been resurrected for its use. It tells them to kill a creature known as the Onion Alien. It provides them with weapons, and as everyone walks closer to inspect, they're shocked to see an unconscious man inside the sphere. Kei notices suitcases labeled with their names, so they start grabbing them. Inside, they find combat suits. Kato finds the suitcase for the woman, Kishimoto, and insists that she wears the suit to cover herself. As they figure out what's happening, Kei observes the man in the hoodie, Nishi. One of the older men, Suzuki, recalls being sedated and taken to the hospital after his car accident, so they wonder if they're hallucinating due to sedation. Suddenly, their bodies disappear and the sphere counts down from 20 minutes. They get transported outside and quickly conclude that they can now go home. However, Nishi explains that they're in a virtual reality show funded by his father, and whoever completes the mission wins $100,000. Kei spots a child in the distance, and Nishi claims that it's their target, so the men run after him in hopes of winning the cash prize. However, Kishimoto, Kei, and Kato don't join them. After a short chase, the men corner the strange onion alien, who pleads with them to take his onion in exchange for his life. He suddenly releases slime from his nose, which allows him to escape. Angry, the men pursue the alien. The other three wander around, noting that no one else is around the area. Soon, the men pass by, so Kato and Kishimoto follow them. The men furiously chase the alien until they corner him in a garage. One of the men shoots, but the gun only releases a blast of light. The alien's arms explodes, and the alien claws at his attackers. Kato witnesses this and stops the men, but all of them, except Suzuki, shoot the alien. Impressed by the weapon, one of the men repeatedly shoots the alien's corpse, so Kato runs inside to stop him. A tall stranger suddenly appears behind them. One of the men tries to intimidate him, but the stranger slashes his leg off. With blood spurting everywhere, the tall stranger grabs the man's head and lifts him. The man accidentally knocks off his wig, revealing that the stranger is another onion alien. Seeing this, the other men shoot, but the alien blocks their attacks with the man's body, causing him to explode. Elsewhere, Kei searches for the others when he hears screams. The stranger has killed everyone except for Kato, who walks out of the garage in fear. Kei sees him and freezes when the stranger steps out. Suddenly, Kishimoto kicks the alien while her suit glows. However, the alien quickly recovers and sends Kishimoto and Kei flying. Frightened, Kei hides behind a van and sees that Kishimoto is unharmed. With an idea in mind, he checks his suitcase but finds it empty. The alien walks towards him, but Kei circles the van and hits it over the head. The enemy is unaffected and merely lets out a guttural roar. Wires appear out of nowhere, trapping the alien. Nishi materializes from a distance, already wearing his suit under his hoodie. Amused at Kei's tactic with the suitcase, he allows him to shoot the alien to get points. However, Kei doesn't have the guts for it, so Nishi shoots instead. The alien explodes, and the four of them, including Kato and Kishimoto, return to the room. As soon as they arrive, Nishi comments that there are more survivors than usual. When Kei questions if this is really for TV, Nishi tells them to ask the sphere, whom he refers to as Gantz. Suddenly, Gantz materializes Suzuki, who screams in horror. Nishi is amused, explaining that even if they're bleeding to death, they'll come back as long as they remain alive when the countdown ends. Finally, Gantz reveals the scores, and everyone gets 0 except for Nishi, whose accumulated score is 79. Seeing this, Kei demands an explanation, so Nishi reveals that their mission is to kill space invaders. When Kato questions where the others are, Gantz then shows the photos of the fallen men, along with countless others who've died in the missions. Nishi ridicules the men's death, but Kato yells that they could have helped them. Unfazed, Nishi calls him a hypocrite and pries his hands off him. To defend his friend, Kei aims a gun at Nishi and assures him that he'll pull the trigger this time. Before Kei can demand more answers, Gantz teleports them again. The next day, Kei wakes up on his bedroom floor and wonders if everything was a dream. However, when he goes to the subway station, there's a note regarding the previous day's incident. With all the confusing thoughts, he can't even focus on his job interview. The next day, Kei attends class and his classmate, Kojima, secretly draws him. Meanwhile, some classmates ridicule Kei's failed job interview. After class, Kojima advises Kei not to mind their classmates, noting that she too feels invisible in their class. When she mentions meeting a friend at the station, Kei recalls his time with Kato and leaves. Kei looks for Kato's address in their grade school yearbook, where he also finds Kato's notes to him, calling him his best friend. However, when he gets to the address, it's only a parking lot. He suddenly remembers the place where the mission took place. Kei immediately heads there and finds the damage to the area caused by their battle. Kishimoto arrives, who still has the combat suit. Kei wonders if they should report to the police, but Kishimoto doubts anyone would believe them. He offers to walk Kishimoto home, but she asks if she could stay with him for the night. Kei accommodates Kishimoto, clearly interested in the young woman. However, she shares that she lives with her boyfriend, but they recently broke up. It was why she slit her wrist in the shower, making Kei pause. Kishimoto shares that she regrets what she did and now fears that she'd find her body in the bathroom at her house. Moments later, she brings out Kato's jacket, noting that she wants to return it. A diary falls out of the jacket, and when Kei reads it, they discover that Kato is on parole. Kei recalls Kato's father's violent behavior, which must have led to his delinquency, but Kishimoto asserts that Kato is a kind person. Elsewhere, Kato has nightmares about the onion alien's death. He springs out of bed and gazes upon his little brother Ayumu, who's sleeping beside him. Kato goes to the bathroom to wash his face, but his body starts disappearing again. Kato and Kei find themselves in the Gantz room with the previous survivors, along with a few new players, a young woman and a grandma with her grandson. Shortly after, Gantz tells them that their target is the Tanaka alien. After the weapons are released, Kato confronts Nishi about letting the others die, but Kei realizes that he used them as bait. Gantz begins to transport the players, so Kato, Kei, Kishimoto, and Suzuki put on their combat suits. Moments after, the grandma and her grandson get separated in a parking lot. The Tanaka alien immediately appears and kills them with its laser mouth. Kei arrives shortly after, and he's horrified upon seeing their dead bodies. The Tanaka alien stands at the other end of the lot, waiting to attack. However, Kei's body isn't done transporting, and his arm and gun are still in the Gantz room. Just then, the alien opens its mouth to shoot, and Kei luckily finishes teleporting in time to retaliate. However, he only manages to counter the laser beam and destroy the alien's boombox. This angers the alien, so it shoots again. However, it shoots Nishi instead, who was hiding. Nishi lands on top of a vent, then the alien descends, making them fall into the lower floor. The alien beats Nishi up and destroys his suit. As the alien is about to kill him, Kato jumps in and pulls the alien back. He holds onto the alien as it flails, eventually crushing its body. Kei tends to Nishi, and with his last breath, he tells Kei to get 100 points so he can resurrect him. Still in shock for what he'd done, Kato fails to realize that the alien has recovered, and it soon punches him in the side. It then aims to blast Kishimoto, but Kato pushes her out of the way and shields her as the alien punches them. Kato pushes Kishimoto away and takes in the alien's punches, but Kishimoto grabs a metal pipe and swings it at the alien. The alien comes after her and throws her aside. The alien comes after Kei next, so he runs but drops his gun. As the alien punches him, Kei's suit lights up, allowing him to throw a powerful uppercut. Still, the alien gets up, so he pins it down. The two throw punches at each other, but as the alien powers up to blast him, Kei grabs his gun and shoots its mouth. Everybody else soon gets transported, except for Kei, whose legs and arms are amputated from the blast. With 10 seconds on the clock, gas leaks out of the destroyed car and a circuit breaker sparks, causing a fire. In the room, Kato is hysterical that Kei is not with them. Suddenly, Gantz activates and delivers Kei in one piece. The scores are released and everyone gets 0 except for Kei, who has 7 points. Kei asks Gantz what will happen if he gets 100 points, and it gives him 2 options: either get their memory erased and be released or resurrect another player. The next day, Kei wakes up with combat suit on. Determined to get 100 points, he dedicates his day to testing the suit's capabilities. However, Kojima calls him in the middle of his practice, and they agree to meet in a coffee shop. There, she shows him the comic she's making, where Kei is the main character. Kojima shyly explains that she chose an ordinary man like him to be a hero, and Kei notes that it reminds him of his childhood when he fought bullies with Kato. Meanwhile, Kishimoto goes to Kato's house to return his jacket. They talk about Gantz and their struggle with the idea of death. Kishimoto notes that she wants to live after meeting him. Kato then reveals that he's in juvenile detention for killing his father, who constantly harmed Ayumu. Kato asserts that he has to be around to protect his brother. During dinner, Kato sees the news reporting the fire at the parking lot from last night. Seeing him looking down, Ayumu offers to work instead, but Kato insists that his brother has to study. Kato admits that he's been having nightmares about not being able to save people. Ayumu then shares that he had a dream that Kato disappeared, so Kato assures his brother that he won't disappear on him. Later that night, the survivors get transported back to the Gantz room along with new players. Gantz presents their next mission as a Buddha-looking alien called the Ill-Tempered Alien. Hoping to win with teamwork, Kato urges everyone to wear the suit, but the monk, who's a newcomer, discourages them, calling him the Devil's Advocate. This infuriates Kato, but Kei assures Kato that he can protect them. Still, Kato refuses to let anyone else die. Kei then assumes that Kato just wants to win, which Kato denies. Just before a fight breaks out, Gantz transports them into the mission. Everyone arrives in front of a museum where they find two great statues. They observe them, trying to determine which is their target. One of the men shoots the statue on the left, and to their horror, the statue on the right turns out to be the ill-tempered alien. It stomps towards them, so everybody scatters. The monk hides in the museum, and as he prays, a multiple-armed statue suddenly moves towards him. Because of this, he prays harder, but when he opens his eyes, it's already standing in front of him. Outside, Kato urges the others to shoot the alien simultaneously, but Kei circles the alien, hoping to get the first shot. However, the giant jumps up and lands hard, knocking everyone back. Hearing the commotion, another player hides inside the museum. Just as the alien stomps at him, Kei glides down and shoots, causing its leg to explode and making the alien fall onto another player. He then shoots its chest and the alien is defeated. Kei is proud of his victory, but Kato points out that he got someone killed. Unbeknownst to them, the timer on Gantz resets. Suddenly, another player exits the museum, injured and near death. Kei quickly concludes that there's another alien, so Kato and Kishimoto join him inside the museum. They find the place quiet until the multi-armed statue attacks Kei, stabbing him repeatedly. Kato drags his body away and volunteers to fight the alien to protect his friend. He searches for the alien, but it appears behind him, so he dodges its attacks. Suddenly, the statue reveals that it's only avenging its friends, who the humans first attacked. Kishimoto shoots, but the statue dodges her attack and slices her in the arm. Her gun is also damaged, leaving her cornered. Kato then unsheathes the sword from his suit and battles the alien. However, he gets knocked back, and just as the statue strikes, Kishimoto blocks him, getting her impaled. She falls into Kato's arms, and with her remaining strength, she leans to kiss Kato but dies before doing so. Enraged, Kato charges towards the alien but gets tossed from side to side while the blades pierce through him. As Kato's body falls, the statue tells Kei that it will destroy humankind. This angers him, so he quickly activates the suit and attacks. He spots a gun and leaps towards it, but the alien blocks when he fires. It then drops a small statue which grows until it breaks through the ceilings. Kei dodges its attacks and Kato uses his remaining strength to toss a gun at Kei. With this, Kei shoots the giant's arms while he runs closer to its head. However, the giant swallows him. After a few blasts from inside its mouth, the giant moans before exploding from the inside. Kei quickly runs back to Kato, but he quickly gets transported while Kato remains motionless. In the room, Kei sees that Kato is not with them, so he asks Gantz for the casualties list. There, he finds Kato's picture, confirming that he's dead. Desperate, Kei screams at Gantz to bring his friend back, but it only tells him to get 100 points to resurrect a player. Realizing that he'll probably die before getting that far, Kei can only mourn for his friend. Kei soon returns to the real world, but with Kato's death, he no longer has the will to live. Although Kojima tries to be there for him, he refuses to pay attention to her. While on the subway, he sees a boy drop his cap on the tracks. Kei steps down to retrieve it, but despite the announcement that the train is coming, he doesn't move away, waiting for it to hit him. Still, he makes a last-minute decision to save himself. Kojima cries and confesses her feelings for him as she begs him not to kill himself. Although he's in a tough time, hearing this brings a smile to Kei's face. Later that night, Kei goes to Kato's house and meets Ayumu. A few days after, Gantz summons him again, and this time he's determined to gain points to revive all of his fallen friends. His determination inspires his fellow players, so they face their next mission together.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.